Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgie, and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about My Dress Up Darling chapter 102. So, what did I think about this week's chapter? Honestly, I thought this week's chapter was great. Now, was it perfect? No. I do have my complaints about it and my nitpicks about this week's chapter, but overall, I thought that this week's chapter was really fun, and it was very lighthearted. As well as we get to see a character we haven't seen in a while that, really elevated this chapter to, new level of entertainment. So it was really great to see him again. Now, before I go any farther with this week's chapter, I just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my Dress Up Darling, as well as all my anime and manga content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's chapter. So, the chapter starts off in a way that I was not expecting at all. So this week's chapter, I saw a lot of people speculating, oh, we're going to see Gojo's point of view. I myself was one of those people. Are we going to see what Marin's thinking about right now? And all of us were 100% wrong. All of us were wrong. What we get at the beginning of the chapter is pretty much Marin hanging out with her dad. And it was really fun seeing my man, once again, because we haven't seen Marin's dad in a while. And every time I see him, I always get a good laugh because, he's the guy that brought Marin and raised her. And you see a little bit of Marin in him. So I think it's always funny how they always bicker. And, it's like father and daughter, relationship. I think it's funny. It was wholesome. And how we see is that pretty much he, sees the pictures of Marin as Henio. And he starts like, whoa, like, that's really you? It's like, yeah, that's me, dad. It's like, whoa, like, that's crazy. Like, I see, what are all these hearts next to this picture? It's like, oh, is that how many people seen it? It's like, yeah. And it's like, whoa. And then they even get on, like, talk about how, the author, like, even he liked it and he posted about it, and even he's like, whoa, wait, I've seen a movie of this guy. Like, one of his works got turned into a movie, and Marin's dad saw it. He's like freaking out. I was like, no way, like, that's insane. It's like, and then Marin's like, yeah, I even got like a job proposal, like, for going pro as a cosplayer. And it's like, whoa, that's awesome. And he's like, you know what, if you were to go and become like a full, like, professional cosplayer, I'll be 100% down for it. And I think that's really sweet and gives you an insight on Marin's dad as a whole. And I think he's always been a really cool dad, but it's just the fact that he's very supportive on her hobby as a whole. And I really like that. I really like that little touch, and just, fleshing out her dad once again. So I thought that was really cool. And continuing on, she's like, the dad is like, how did you, like, make these costumes? Like, it must have costed you a lot. It's like, nah, my friend made them. And then you see him like, wait a minute, what? Like, my man starts freaking out. I was like, yeah, my friend made them all. I was like, Marin. And then he's like, you've been taking advantage of this person. And Marin's like, not even, dude. And what happens is, because of all this misunderstanding, we actually see Marin, her dad, go to Gojo's place. And this is the first time that Gojo meets Marin's dad. So this is a big deal. As well as, Grandpa Wakan is there too, Gojo's grandpa. And the whole exchange is pretty funny overall, because Marin's dad is just, like, apologizing for her, like, being a nuisance. He's like, I'm sorry if my daughter, like, she can be a lot, I'm sorry that she, like, made you make all these outfits. I'll make sure that, she compensates you. And Marin's like, I pay him, right? Like, she's like freaking out. I was like, and one thing to note, well, all this is funny and, it's all fun and all. One major thing that's happening is that we get to see Gojo and Marin, like, stare at each other, and you see Marin, like, actually witness it. Like, she's like looking at him and thinking to herself, like, okay, so he's back to normal. Like, I guess I'll just, pretend nothing happened. But you do see them look at each other. But one thing to note is that in this entire chapter, they don't even talk to each other once. So it's still very awkward. Like, I remember when I was reading this chapter and I got to that part, I was like, man, you can cut the tension with a knife. Like, this is just very awkward and unsettling. And I hate seeing it because, these two are always so lovable and, bubbly next to each other, but they were very quiet and serious. And I get that her dad is there. It's a little bit awkward and, and why not? But still, you can see that Marin, like, she is mad. And one thing I will note is that I myself am a little bit upset at Marin too, because here's the thing. While they were talking, like, in this whole situation with her dad, and there was never a moment where Marin went like, hey, can I talk to you for a second, Gojo? Like, hey, is everything okay? Like, what's up? Never once did she approach Gojo like that, and neither did Gojo approach Marin like, hey, sorry for the other day, I was a mess. None of that. So a big miscommunication between the two of them, and that really, grinded my gears. Like, I was like, come on, guys, like, talk it out. But I get it. They're teenagers, they don't know how to, like, really, go about these kind of situations. They're still developing their stages of like, what a relationship is and why not. So I get it, but it's still something that in the back of my mind I was like, come on, you guys, just talk it over and fix it. But continuing on with the chapter, we see that pretty much as they're continuing, they're talking, and he eventually like tells like Marin and Gojo like, hey, thanks for taking care of her, all this is like. And it's like, by the way, Marin, you gotta like learn how to cook, because you can't just show up at these people's houses and just like expect them to make you food. You have to be a grown adult. And he just like goes on a whole rant, and that was pretty hilarious because you see like Marin like old chibi like, and the dad is just like, by the way, I'm not telling you this because you're a girl. I'm telling you this because you're gonna be an adult and you have to take care of yourself. So once again, Marin's dad is just looking after her. He seems like a really stand-up guy, and she's like, okay, I know how to cook. All right, don't come at me like that. Why are you guys all talking like I don't know how to cook? I know how to cook. Like, look, this is my dishes. And we see like we see that super unhealthy dish that she made in like, the early chapters where she first cooks, that we see her. And it's like, you just see like Marin's dad, like his face is like of disapproval. Like he just looks dead inside. He's just like ashamed. So it was hilarious. And then, he just goes like, thank you guys so much, like, for taking care of her. Yes, it was so funny. And you just see like Gojo and the grandpa just kind of like in the background, like, don't say anything, like, don't blow it even more out of proportion. So that was a nice little touch. And Grandpa Wokan is like, you want to stay to eat? And the dad is like, yeah, I'm sure, like I'm down to like stay and eat. And the dad's eating the food, is like, whoa, he's freaking out because Gojo's like, cooking skills, and he's like, wow, I haven't eaten like a homemade meal in so long. It tastes so delicious. And you get it, he's always working abroad, he's always like traveling, so he doesn't have enough time to cook. So I get why. So overall, it was cute though. And pretty much how we end the chapter, the big final note of the chapter is that they're saying their goodbyes. Like, he's like, it was nice meeting you. Would you like to come with us to like see the comet, like a shrine, like it's like a little festival thing? And Gojo's like, actually, I have plans with my cousin. It's like, oh, okay, no problem. By the way, you're a really standout guy. Like, you're really, really good. Like, you're really cool, and I really appreciate that. And one thing I want to tell you is, please take care of Marin for me, would you? Like, he said something along those lines, and that was big. Like, that's a big moment, guys, because like that's the dad of Marin. And if you ever guys want to get in a relationship, getting in the good side of the dad is one of the easiest ways to one of the, not the easiest, but is one of the best feelings in the world. You feel approved. You feel like, okay, I'm worthy of your daughter. And it's just a very nice moment that even his dad knows that Gojo's a nice guy. And that only makes it much more satisfying when they do get together. Like the dad will be okay with it, and you don't have to expect like a cliche like, no, well, I won't let you date any guy. So it's really nice to see that Marin's dad is very, very like cool about the whole situation. And we pretty much, how do we see Gojo respond to it? Gojo just goes, I will. Like, it's the sweet smile. But to note, once again, throughout the chapter, Marin and Gojo weren't talking at all. And that's a big deal because, a lot of miscommunication at the moment between these two. And as sweet as, the thought of Gojo being like, I'll take care of her, Gojo also has to step up. And, he needs to prove himself like, hey, I want to be with this girl. I love her. And he has to prove to himself that he's worthy of her. Because, the dad's vouch for you. Grandpa Wakana even vouched for Marin. Like, you got the two parental figures have vouched for each other's partners. Like, Gojo being vouched by the dad, and, Grandpa Wakana vouching for Marin. Like, it's all said, guys. Like, the pieces are there. Just go follow through and do it. But that was one of my nitpicks of the chapter. And also, we don't get to see an inner monologue or anything of the inside of what Gojo's feeling. And that's something a little frustrating for myself, because I really want to see what's going on with Gojo. We all have our speculations, and I do find them all fascinating. I've seen a lot of theories, and I like all of them. Like, they all make a lot of sense. But I want to see, how it comes through and what Gojo really is feeling through, the author's point of view, like 100% confirmed now. But yeah, overall, I thought this week's chapter was fantastic, and I can't wait to see the next chapter, which, by the way, as a full disclaimer, the next chapter won't be next month. It'll be a month after, so we won't get the new chapter of My Dress Up until like April 16 or something like that. So, it's a shame, but as long as Fukuda keeps cooking, I'll keep reviewing and watching for you guys. But with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more My Dress Up Darling, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.